How's your heart, mate, after that one?
All right, to be honest, yeah. I'm not sure whether there's an actual word in the dictionary to describe the emotion when Nicholas finally put that one in, because it felt important, you know. We had to apologise with our performance, if you like, from Tuesday night. I think that was important, and I thought we showed real commitment. I really like Barnsley. I think you can see the work and the quality that the new managers brought to the attacking press, and we had to go a little bit more direct today. I thought Fam worked really hard. I thought he was a colossus in terms of aerial duels, and it was important that we lifted the ball over the press, and every time we didn't manage to do that well, Barnsley nicked it, and they're very, very busy on the break. So I felt we deserved the win. I think Barnsley are a good side, a plucky side, and I'm pretty convinced that they'll stay up. But more importantly for us, that felt a big win, given the fact that it's now 3 wins in 4 in the league.
Yeah, some goals are bigger than others, and that was a big goal in your season, wasn't it?
Well, I think they're all big goals, you know. Like, listen, we're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We know where we need to improve. We know where we need to add, and the boys are honest. And I think
what I mean is, on top of Tuesday's result, if that had been a 0-0 draw, the people going away would have been totally different. I mean, Nicholas has changed the atmosphere totally.
Yeah, well, listen, we always want positivity. Without question of a doubt, positivity is important. It's no different whether you're at this football club or Man United or Rochdale, you know, it's important. And we're all very, very happy that we've got this win, because it gives us this 10-day period now where we can really enjoy life and work hard and try and concentrate on beating Reading.
Nicholas has had so many assists this season, so nice for him to grab the glory, isn't it?
Yeah, I was chuffed for him, because we've been doing a lot of work with him sort of arriving in goal-scoring areas, you know. He's naturally, he always wants that ball to feet wide, and we're trying to get him to be narrower sometimes and be the one that sticks it in and finishes it, like Bowen, for example, at Hull. So, yeah, I made the switch, obviously brought Callum on, put Nick that side and went with 2 centre-forwards, and Jay Da Silva's great little run provided the opportunity for Nicholas to be free at the far post, and we squeezed it in. I thought he should have got one before that, to be honest. And obviously Famara's chance, but then again Barnsley had some really good breaks as well.
It almost seems like neither side wanted to score at times. There were some really good chances missed, weren't there, today for both teams. But Jay at the end there, I mean, he's had his fitness problems this season. That's a testament to his fitness that he could get down that way at that stage.
Absolutely, and I think the last 20 minutes was always going to open up in this game. The way that they play, the way that they press so hard, so constant. It's hard. I've played a diamond before, and as a manager, it's hard to sustain a 90-minute period in a diamond. So that last 20 minutes was always going to be important. And look, we've had some horrible things happen to us this year, horrible, and that's why I'm so proud of the boys. Just everything, injuries off the pitch. You know what I mean? People like Jay Da Silva. We ain't had him for like 4 months. You know what I mean? Callas, we ain't had the real Callas at the moment. It's like Superman slept on a bed of kryptonite for 6 months. You know what I mean? And then we've had like obviously Bennett out. You know what I mean? These are big players for us. Like a lot of talent in those players, and for the boys to still be fighting, still competing, and in a typical championship game where both sides caused each other problems.
So where are you now? You're 1 point off the playoffs still. And you've got the rest of the transfer window. Did you feel it's imperative that you bring people in, or could you get by with the squad you've got?
Well, I think it depends what your ambition is. I think that we need to bring a couple in. I think that you need quality, not quantity, and that's the problem, if you like, because there isn't a lot. and if you've got one, you've got to either go the extra mile financially to do it, whether it be on a long term or a short term. Or you've got to stick with what you've got and obviously promote from within. Our squad is okay. We've tried to reduce the numbers for dynamic reasons, to make sure everybody mentally feels like they've got a shot of playing and be involved, and they feel involved, which I think is important. But I'd be lying to you if I didn't feel it was very important for us to bring a couple in.
But you've obviously possibly missed 1 or 2 targets already for one reason or another. So how long is your list?
That bit is not down to me. Without putting too much pressure on Mark Ashton, that's his job. I have the pressure of winning football matches, and of course the talent ID is down to me, but it's his job to do his very
You're
best.
saying there's not much around, you know.
No, I don't think that. I don't think there's not much around. I just think that not much is moving, because it's like a house, you know, like a house chain. If something happens in that particular club where a player gets injured, or what happens is the chain completely falls down, where players, we want that, their players, teams want our players, do you know what I mean? And teams at that club then can't get rid of their players, and it's a domino effect that moves through football. And what more than likely what you're going to see is a mad rush probably in the last 48 hours of the window.
Any more live questions, or can we go to Mondays?
Ideally, just on the transfer line you were saying there. I mean, are you talking about the Championship market or?
Well, yeah. Listen, you know your place at the table. It all stems from the top level and what they do, and what they're willing to let out. Because inevitably the quality comes from there. Whether it be young players, and then it then becomes either a financial reason or a falling out if you're going to go and get another Championship player, or you recruit from lower down where you're going to have to pay a hefty price, if you like, because it's a January tax, or you go foreign, which you don't really want to do, because you know that it's hard to come into England, into the Championship and hit the ground running. I'm not sure how many, be interesting to see the stats on how many strikers, for example, come over in January and bang in 10 goals from abroad.
Is it a problem that the same clubs are looking at the same players to a degree?
Yeah, of course. Because then there's so much that goes into it. Like, if only you knew.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you're talking agents' fees, family fees, like there's all sorts of fees coming out of everywhere at the moment. And it is a very, very expensive window. But there are people desperate chasing that honeypot, if you like, of the 200 million that is worth to get into the Premier League. So there's various ways to do it. I would be happy with my squad as long as you could guarantee me no more injuries. But unfortunately, that's unrealistic in this crazy, intense Championship that we're in, and I feel like we need a couple at least.
You said about it depends on your ambition. What do you mean in that kind of wider sense? Do you mean that ambition has to be shown in terms of bringing someone in? Or?
Well, yeah, your ambition's got to be shown on the pitch first and foremost. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to go and try and win football matches. Listen, you look at like Fulham's squad last night. It's a fantastic squad. Like, do you know what I mean? That is a top squad. And they're who we're competing with. So we've got to get the same sort of quality, whether that's nurture, purchase, develop, doesn't really matter. But that's we are ambitious, and we've got to prove it on the pitch, on the park.
Just a couple more. Just on Jamie Patterson's role today, seems to be playing quite a bit deeper than normally.
Well, we played 4-1-4-1 to lock out the middle, and then, like I say, try and go a little bit more direct, try and isolate quick players in wide areas. Jamie can play in the 10, he can play wide on the left. Obviously I brought him on wide on the left against Wigan, and he changed the game for us with his input. But today I wanted him in a sort of 8-10 position, as we call it, and I thought it was good. Obviously I made the change. It was one of those, like, could have made the change maybe 10-15 minutes earlier, but I felt like Pato was always got that bit of feel, if you like, and that bit of grace in the way he plays to create a chance. So luckily we got the sub right today at the right time, and that proved with a goal.
Two more, Dave. In terms of the squad building, if you like, in January, is there any provision to bring anyone back from loan?
There is a potential to do that. Yeah, we've got to assess it, and it really changes day by day. Literally, the landscape seems to move, or the goalposts, or however you want to look at it, every 12 hours. That's how it feels at the moment. Listen, yesterday I had no input because everything is about today. Today I've had no input. I know that me and Mark are going to chat later on because there will be some sort of developments, but I didn't want to hear any of that today because I wanted to stay focused on the football match.
Because the obvious one's obviously Joe Morrell, who kind of seems to be, into what he said at Lincoln, he almost seems that he's sort of not sure if he's staying at Lincoln or if he's potentially coming back.
Yeah, there's options, but again, you almost have to make an assessment like after every game, because had we had an injury today in the midfield area, again changes the landscape completely. And if we get a striker injured, then we're short. Do you know what I mean? We need a striker.
One more. No Casey in the squad today.
Yeah, just not in the squad. Like again, you can only pick 18. Like various things that you wouldn't know about. Bates come off of his groin. You know what I mean? You need a little bit more defensive cover in certain areas. Casey's got a couple of areas in his game that we need to improve, but he's a talented boy, you know what I mean, and focused and application strong, just like Pato's shown. And obviously they play in a very similar sort of position, if you like, but maybe Pato's just been with me and understands me a little bit longer and a little bit more. Okay?
Okay.